Hello, scrappy friends. I am here with a layout for Simple Stories using the Merry and Bright collection. I'm going to use as my background this neat green plaid called Joy and Happiness. And I'm going to concentrate mostly on using these two frames from the Tag and Frames die cut pack. Normally, Simple Stories has bits and pieces die cut packs, and this collection came with extra die cut packs. And I really love these two frames. The longer one is like an Instax size, so the actual photo is 2x3, and the other one is a 2x2 inside. I'm also going to concentrate on using the 6x8 pad. I love the scale of the designs on the 6x8 pads that Simple Stories has been coming out with in their collections. My design is going to be super simple, lots of squares of these papers layered across the entire middle of the page. So I'm cutting a whole bunch of 2x2 squares. I'll just fast forward to have all those at the end. Here we are. And now it's a matter of just playing with the position and moving them around quite a lot. My goal was to just balance out the colors and the tone. So there's some really light patterns like those trucks and the candy cane stripe. I did choose some aqua in there with these little asterisks, and I wanted to spread those around and just achieve some balance. As I'm moving my papers around, I'm pulling in some of the tags to see if I can work them in. Ultimately, only that Northern Pines little truck one is going to make it. And I'm also bringing in some of those die cuts with words and just placing them to see where they would go well. To take advantage of all the layers, I wanted to be able to tuck a few things here and there or place them at the seams. To aid in being able to tuck things in, I propped up my two photos on foam. And that's what makes this design really work and gives it some pop. All the different levels and depths. Otherwise, it's just a whole bunch of papers across the page. I should mention I was purposeful in choosing my two photos and the placement. The taller one is further away, and that frame is a little bigger, and it shows my girls walking up and towards the left. So I placed it on the right, so they're going towards the middle of the layout. And then the other one is a little smaller frame, so I did a close-up, and the girls are facing forward and towards the right, so I placed it on the left. That way your eye is always going towards each other and the middle. So by now I've decided along the edges for the most part, and I'm trying to fill in the middle. Again, I bring in a couple tags. I like that tag, but in order to take advantage of the cute little cluster of flowers at the bottom, I'd have to put it on top of my layers. And in my design, I'm actually layering the top portion so that the layers face up, and then the bottom of the whole row, the layers face down. I'm not sure if I'm explaining that right, but that tag was going to overlap all my layers in the middle, and I wanted the edges to be pointing up. As I'm fiddling with the middle, I realize what it's lacking is some more of the red. There's quite a bit of darker red on both edges. So I cut a few more pieces, and also of this plaid. I didn't want to cut into that 6x8 paper because the other side is an actual big design, but there are doubles in the paper pad, so I decided to go ahead and cut it in and then layer more in the middle. The sheet of stickers has a long border that it's plaid and scalloped, and I thought that would be perfect to echo the frame. So I cut a couple of pieces and put them on two other sides, one at the bottom under the little Northern Pines and one at the top at the other end. At this point, I start trying out some embellishments, and I brought in that Hello December that I knew I wanted to use as a title. And my idea was to use it below, and I realized I don't have enough space for everything, so I'm going to shift everything up. I'll fast forward this. Once everything's shifted up, I can actually add some embellishments. I'm starting with the chipboard, this round one that echoes the little truck, because this layout is about my family going to pick out our tree, and that always signifies for me the beginning of December and the Christmas season. And it doesn't matter which day it is. And you'll see later, this is like December 7th. But so I did another little truck. And one of the first papers I put down were little trucks at the left-hand side. So now I have a trilogy of those trucks. That's one of the golden rules of design, are to have trios that lead your eye. And it's really good in this design because there are a lot of patterns right there in the middle, and it can kind of feel a bit chaotic. So you need anchor points that your eye can go from here to there all across the page. I stick down some tab stickers. I try out that little banner, but I felt it was going to call too much attention away from the photo. And then I think, well, maybe I'll concentrate on my title. And I knew I was going to use the Hello December at the bottom. So first, I think, let me embellish that area. As I fiddled with these stickers, I discarded that idea right away. I go back to my layers to fill in some blanks because now I have the idea of using those stickers with the trees in the middle of the layers. I'm going to take advantage of the tier effect of those layers for those trees, but I am gonna just double check everything else. So I'll try out some of the other embellishments. And then now I'm going to get those trees in. Sometimes you just have to keep shifting things over. And I did not want to have any blank spots where you could see the background. So a lot of shifting. At this point, I'm pretty happy with my overall design. I'm going to go away to cut off the ends on my big Cutterpillar Pro cutter. And when I come back, I've brought over a little strip of pom-poms that I want to add more texture to this layout and just kind of call attention to that photo because my daughters are super cute there. I also, off camera, typed up my journaling, and I did it on one of my typewriters that I finally fixed. I have two. One I inherited, and that's the electronic one that I just typed that on. My other typewriter, I have to fiddle with the ribbon because it's not quite laying right. But anyway, I typed it on vellum because it's going to go vertically on the background, and I wanted it to blend in a little bit with the background rather than have these really stark white journaling strips. I busted out the puffy stickers to add some to my layout. I really just stuck with the little hearts. The layout already had enough embellishments that covered up seams or tucked under in the spots I wanted. So the puffy stickers were really just to make it more clustery. I also added that little 'Tis the Season word strip at the very bottom there. And then I pull out the Mr. Huey's opaque white and I mask off areas so that I can do splatters up and down where the journaling is going to go. It is going to blend in more into the background, but I also didn't want it to be bland. So I went with splatters, and some of them are really small, so I painted on some bigger ones. I cut my journaling strips, and this is going to be fiddly taking the backing because I put them through the Xyron for the adhesive, and then I'll have to remove the backing. That's going to be fiddly, so I'm going to fast forward. I'm also off camera going to do my title, which here I'm trying to decide which side to put it on, maybe opposite, but in the end I leave it in line with the journaling. I'm going to go off, and here I'm back. With my machine, I did a double row of stitching around the perimeter of the layout, capturing the title and anchoring it down, and also capturing the edges of the layered papers. And then I added the chipboard back on. I added a couple more puffy hearts in some blank spaces next to the chipboard tree on the left, and then at the very top of all my layers on the right. I'm briefly considering adding some more hearts to the bottom of my journaling, and then I discarded that because really I want all the attention across the middle. You can read the journaling, but it doesn't stand out as much, and then you just have that title that pops. I do add a little bit more splatters, and this time I go ahead and splatter up and down into my layers to blend it into the design. And now we're going to get into the date. I recently had two different layouts where I put the wrong date. So I had my sticky note ready, and I went and got some StazOn. I was playing with the idea of putting the date directly on the photo, so I had an extra one there that I was practicing on. And I try on a strip of the background paper, but I decide to go for on the photo. I don't do that as often, and I really like the way it looks. I was just afraid it would clash with the jingle all the way on the frame, but no, I really like it. So here I'm slowing down so you can see the layout in real time. All the yummy layers and things tucked in here and there. I like the unexpected texture that the pom-pom around the frame brings, and it balances out the splatters on the right-hand side. Still shots are coming up. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it thumbs up, leave me some comments, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I have a link to the unboxing video with this collection if you want to see the entire thing. There's some really great extras like a die pack with large numbers that are great for December Daily. I will see you here next time.